Now I'm going to preview the number 18 Baylor versus number 22 West Virginia women's basketball game, and it would have been a more intriguing game if Baylor would have taken care of business against BYU. Let's just be clear. The game will be played on February 10th at 2 p.m. Central Time on espnplus. And I'm going to say that West Virginia had a player that played for the first time since January, and she's been out for a while, and I'll make a note of that here, and I'll put the outlook on West Virginia women's basketball in the description below so y'all could see it. So West Virginia does have 3 double-digit scores, and fortunately, going to this game for Baylor, West Virginia is not as tall as BYU. Yes, West Virginia does have a 6'3" player, but that's the tallest. They actually have 6'4", but she's like 3.1 points per game. So not that effective. So J.J. Quinley is the best player for West Virginia in terms of points per game. I mean, number 11, 5'8" guard. That's a junior, 19.5 points per game. 35 for 100 on threes, 85 for 103 on free throws. 3 rebounds per game, 3.4 assists per game, 2.9 turnovers per game, 3.3 steals per game, 2.4 fouls per game. Jordan Harrison, number 10, 5'6" guard. That's a sophomore. 13.5 points per game, 32 for 85 on threes, 78 for 99 on free throws, 4.1 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists per game, 2.8 turnovers per game, 2.8 steals per game, 2.1 fouls per game. Then it's Lauren Fields. Yeah, she was at Oklahoma State, I believe. Then it went to Arizona, and now she's at West Virginia. 5'9" guard. That's a senior. 11.2 points per game, 54 for 155 on threes, 17 for 39 on free throws. 2.8 rebounds per game, 1.4 turnovers per game, 2.3 steals per game, 1.7 fouls per game. And then it's Kaya Watson, number 32, 5'10" guard. That's a junior. 8.1 points per game, 10 for 30 on threes, 20 for 25 on free throws, 6 rebounds per game, 1.5 turnovers per game, 2.3 steals per game, 0.6 blocks per game, 2 fouls per game. And then there's Kaylee Blackston, number 14, 6'3" forward. That's a senior. 7 points per game, 21 for 61 on threes. So she can make threes, even though she's 6'3". 20 only for 33 on free throws, 3 rebounds per game, 1.8 turnovers per game, 1.3 steals per game, 0.7 blocks per game, 2.6 fouls per game. And there's Jayla Hemingway, and yet you know what's crazy is she was a starter last 2 years. This year she's not a starter. Number double zero or number 0, 5'11" guard. That's a senior. 6 points per game, 11 for 40 on threes, 45 for 60. 9 on free throws, 2.3 rebounds per game, 1.9 turns per game, 1 steal per game, 1.6 fouls per game. And there's Terza Moore. Yeah, she's actually the player that I'm referring to that hasn't played since January for whatever reason. And she got landed on the floor hard or something. Got to go back to that game. Number 33, 6-foot guard. That's a junior. 6 points per game. 26 for 483 on free throws. 3.9 rebounds per game, 0.8 turns per game, 1 point steals per game, 1.3 fouls per game. And there's Taffy Diggs, number 21, 6'1" forward. That's a senior, 5.7 points per game, 8 for 13 on free throws, 3.3 rebounds per game, 0.8 turns per game, 0.7 blocks per game, 1.6 fouls per game. And it's Danelle Arigbabu, Arigbabu, number 8, 6'4" forward. That's a junior. Actually, 3.1 points per game, but still, she does play. 13 for 18 on free throws, 0.7 turns per game, 1.4 fouls per game. And the last player I'm going to mention is Messiah Hunter, number 13, 6'2" forward. That's a sophomore. 1.7 points per game, 1 for 2 on threes, 8 for 15 on free throws, 0.8 turns per game, 0.6 fouls per game. And I'm going to say this bluntly and up front. Baylor has to play a lot better from the start than that BYU game. And Nikki Collins said it as much in the press conference and even the post-game show after that BYU game. I'm just telling you point blank in the face. And you got to be better from the start offensively. The second half, the offense was there, and the turnovers were not the problem, ironically, when you look at the number, because she wants 12 turnovers or less, but still. Across the board, you've got to come out with more energy and not come out with more energy, and you got to play ticked off in this game. You just lost to BYU. That should be a wake-up call for you. I'm just telling the truth. I mean, it should be one of those another wake-up calls like that Kansas game. So I'm just saying that in perspective right now. And obviously, you want to keep your composure. Don't play with poise, and don't feel like you're rushed into a shot. Like when you're rushing into a shot. At least West Virginia is not as tall as compared to BYU. That does help. I mean, and obviously, you want to win the rebounding battle as well. I mean, on defense, you got to shut down the best players, continue shooters, continue slashers, and don't let them live at the free throw line. I mean, you got to limit the points in the paint for them. Second chance points, fast break points, which we have to do better job. And Collins did say that in press conference. If you don't know all that already. I mean, and limit the points on turnovers as well. I mean, and second chance points, like I said. And forced turnovers on West Virginia. You did that against BYU, and you scored a lot of those points. It's just the problem is you were not shooting the ball as good. And obviously, you got to rebound and box out, especially on free throws. You don't want to give an offensive rebound on a free throw. In addition, and you got to make adjustments on the fly on both ends of the floor, possession by possession. And you know what? On offense, you took care of the ball better than previously. But the problem is, you didn't win the game. I know why. You didn't shoot the ball good enough. You got to shoot better than that BYU game from the start. Because the second half was there. It's just offensively. It's just the problem is whenever you got within 9, BYU answered right back. And you cannot allow that to happen. Again, I'm just telling the truth. You got to do something about that. And obviously, you got to get more second chance points and more rebounds offensively. You got to make your free throws count. If you get there, you got to get some points in the paint. And please do not, if your shot's not going down, drive from 3-point line. And hopefully that kind of, it just seems like ever since that Kansas game, something's going on there on the threes. It's all about shot selection. And shot selection is the key here. I mean, that's the thing. You got to take care of the ball. You got to get some points out of turnovers because sometimes your best offense comes from your defense. You got to get some points in the paint. Like I said, you got to get some second chance points and transition as well. I mean, that's the truth about it is. And Dariana Little Page Buggs was not the problem against BYU. She wasn't. When you look at the numbers, I mean, I'm just telling the truth about it here. But Dre Edwards has to play a lot better than that BYU game. And she probably knows it. Asia Blackwell needs to score more, too. I mean, that really needs to help. And Jay Walker needs to play a lot better. And Sarah Andrews, when Sarah Andrews does not shoot the ball good, Baylor loses the game. That's the recipe for West Virginia in this game. Shut her down. You got her offense. And honestly, this is a game right here. The Baylor 6-5 in conference, 17-5 overall, and West Virginia's 9-2 in conference and 22 in overall. But I will say this: West Virginia's on the roll. They have not lost a game since the game against Iowa State the first time, and that's after those back-to-back losses to Texas and Iowa State. They won everything else since January 10th. Granted, you will say, when you look at the schedule, who's the best opponent they've played since? It's Iowa State, to be honest, because Cincinnati is not that good. Houston is not that good. UCF, they're not that good. I'm just being truthful. BYU, yes, they beat us, but they shouldn't have beat us that bad. Not that much. And Texas, mediocre. I'm just telling the truth about it here. And Sarah, and Asia Black, she had 8 points on 3 of 8 shooting and made 2 threes, which is a good thing. It's just Sarah Andrews has to get out of there, but funk. But I just wonder if something's going on there, like an injury or something. I mean, you got to go out and play your Baylor basketball like you did in the second half offensively. And you got to do that from the start and not just in the second half. And you got to start faster. I mean, Jay Walker has to play a lot better. Dre Edwards has to, like I said. Sarah Andrews, yes. Bella Fauneroy had a hard game. I mean, 1 for 7 shooting, including 1 for 4 in threes. She's got to play better. Yaya Felder, she's, by the way, she lost a tooth in that BYU game. Hopefully she'll be fine, but I think she's going to be okay to play. It's just that losing a tooth is not fun. And Danae, Johnny Van Guyonbeek was not even the problem either. She had 10 points, and yes, I know she had 2 turnovers and all that, but she had 2 steals. I mean, you got to limit your foul trouble, and in addition, you want to get the other team in foul trouble as much as possible. It's the truth about it is, and we have to shoot better offensively, and maybe you don't have to jack up so many threes. You could just be slot selection and try to adjust. Obviously, I think West Virginia's a man-to-man team, but if they go zone, you got to make adjustments to it. I'm just telling the truth. And you got to play a lot better defense, especially when you gave up 78 points to BYU on 52.6% shooting on 57 attempts and 40% on three-point line. Yeah, we got to have to do something about that. We have to do something on defense and get them uncomfortable as much as possible. I'm just telling the truth. And you really need this win, Baylor, especially coming off of a bad loss to BYU. And I don't know if we're going to be ranked next week or not, but if we at least win this game, you're going to move up in the conference. I don't know about moving up in the conference standings per se, because it depends on Iowa State what they do, but you get the whole point. You need to find a way to protect home court for once against a ranked opponent, because the last 2 times you played a ranked opponent in Kansas State and Texas, you lost both of those. In Kansas State, we just let that one slip away. I'm just telling the truth, and you got to make your free throws unlike those other 2 home games. I'm just telling the truth. And we did better against Houston on free throws. This game, 11 for 16 on free throws, could be better, but we have to. And you cannot play. And some of those shots, we just went too fast for our own good at times. So, and hopefully, last night was a major come to Jesus meeting for this team, because they need all the ways they could get to even think about a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, let alone a Big 12 tournament. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. I mean, I don't know about a 3 seed, but unless they go on a winning streak like crazy, and this is the first of 2 meetings against West Virginia, by the way, and I would think this team would wake up, and honestly, Danae Fretz needs to do her role if she gets to play. If Vladdy Vasconcelos, she's 6'7", but she's not ready. Maybe she needs to play a little bit, and and do her role. But it's so hard to ask a freshman when she's not really ready. And we all know Madison Bartley. She has a lower back injury, and I get she would have not been that much productive either, but she would have given us an extra body in terms of defending the post players. She would have helped against BYU to somebody that's at least 6'3" or a little bit taller, to get some size and to get some experience. And I know she's probably struggling because mid-major level, power level. And it's a system change too. And most of these players, what's crazy is there's only one player on the team that's been at Baylor for more than 2 years. You all know who that is. Sarah Andrews. I'm just telling the truth. And we have to shoot. And if Bucks could step up like she did against BYU and getting a double-double, but we have to have more than Bugs doing the offense and Yaya Felder doing the offense. And maybe Jana should play more minutes because Sarah Andrews is not feeling it right now, and she's been on a cold streak. And maybe some of it's conditioning. I have no idea. what's going on with this team with conditioning and everything. It seemed like we were tired and we looked sluggish out there for the last 5 games or so. So I'm just telling the truth. And you got to play ticked off and come ready to go from the jump. I'm just telling the truth. And when you look at the starting lineup for West Virginia, Blackston, yeah, she's 6'3" and she's a starter. I mean, that's obvious. And it would be Harrison and Watson. Harrison, like I said, is 5'6", and Watson's 5'10", and JJ Quinley, which she is 5'8", and Lauren Fields. That's their starters, by the way, in terms of last names. I'm 5'9", so they're not that much taller. And you might have to throw in some zone defense in as well, if you need to help yourself on defense and try to make the passing harder for them to get the ball down low. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. And make it harder for them and make them shoot fadeaways. If they make it, they make it. But make it harder shots. And you got to out-hustle them. You got to be the tougher team. Be a lot tougher than that BYU game. And I'm sure Nikki Cole and Steph are saying that as we speak. And it'll be interesting what she says on the coach's show tonight about that game. About that game and all the other questions she has. Which we'll be seeing on Baylor Athletics' YouTube page, by the way. That's just a huge FYI on that. And normally they only have like 2 other players that play more than 10 minutes in a game. And Tavi Diggs and Hemingway as well. And Moore only play like 4 minutes, so I don't know how much she's going to really take to play in this game. And same thing as for Hunter and Boo. But you get the whole point. You got to have more. You have got to have your bench step up when your starters are not doing as much as they should be. And I just hope the last game was just off night for Dre. I hope so. And we got to take care of the ball better, and we got to have better basketball IQ as well. And don't have to go for the home run plays when you're passing the ball. You could just take singles. And obviously you don't want to have like illegal screens or get a lot of charges. Of course, obviously if you withdraw some charges, that'd be good. But you can't rely on officials to call stuff. And you just got to play through the contact and make shots through contact too. So that's all I got to say about this game. And I expect Baylor to play a lot better. I would hope so. Than that BYU game. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 600 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal. It's 1,000 more. So maybe money out. Of course, like the video, comment video really helps the YouTube algorithm so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button. It's free, the notification bell as well. You gotta have to start, and you got to know your defensive assignments a lot better, and don't allow like clean shots or take yourselves out of the play, go for the steal, and you get burned, and they score on you. You gotta be smarter than that, and everything. And West Virginia does thrive on points out turnovers in their wins when you look at the numbers. I'm for each game this year, so yeah, you gotta limit those as much as possible on defense to 0. And obviously you gotta take advantage of West Virginia's turnovers. So that's all I gotta say.